Well, given the fact that I haven't yet had any notable achievement or intense professional experience, I really have no idea of how to deliver a TED Talk to meet the quality of TEDx. So rather than just telling you three stories about myself and pretending that, I hope you may find them interesting or even useful in any way. But if you don't, well, I don't care. Actually, what you think of me after this talk is none of my business. Hashtag NONB, none of my business. In other words, I don't give a damn about what you think of me. So what does it mean, not giving a damn? Well, it means that you don't care about someone or something in the slightest. For example, if I say that I don't care about you, and you say you don't care about me, it means that we don't give a damn about each other. And now it may sound like an insult to throw at somebody's face, but it is actually probably could be a very good attitude towards life. So I did use Facebook when I was in high school, but back then all of my online friends were my actual classmates. So we lived at the same place, we wore the same clothes, and talked the same way. So we were kind of just on the same background level. But then architecture school came in. I got to know and see all sorts of people with immense talent and awesomeness, people who really know their stakes in arts and fashion and music and photography. And it was like a flush or an invasion of all the coolest people in the world, in your opinion, into your life. And it was eye-opened and also very frightening. One little example, when I saw a very beautiful watercolor painting that one of my Facebook friends did very beautifully, and I thought that, well, I'm an architecture student, I've been taught about colors, and I know how to draw. Perhaps I should do the same and see if I could do it any better. But imagine that happened every single time that you saw on your newsfeed someone posted something very amazing that they had done. You cared so much about what people do and also too afraid of not being able to catch up. So you started to freak out. I started to freak out. I didn't know what to do next and ended up having an identity crisis. And that is when I started to ask myself, well, what should I do? Or what do I need? What do I want? Or even who am I? Now, by giving a damn so much about what people do, you ended up questioning your own existence. Now, I believe that every single one of us have at least two different versions of ourselves. But I am an introvert, which means that somewhere in here is another me who is crazier, more aggressive, more hysterical, bad temper, lack of enthusiasm and responsibility than the one I present outside. I'd like to refer that person as Voldemort hidden under the surface of Tom Riddle. Now I'll tell you how these two work. There was a competition that my friends and I was involved in 2016, and it is called AYDA, short for Asia Young Delayer Award. We managed to win the first place in the national round and had our chance to fly to Indonesia to compete with 15 other countries for the regional round. And by saying we, I mean there was 3 of us. But then the organizer, Nippon Paint, they said to us that, well, actually, there is only one of you can go. And I was like, what? What do you mean one? Do you want us to start a civil war or something? Do we have to choose one of us to go between us? Are we going to fight for this? So, you see, but it's the rule. So said Tom Riddle, then see this face. Well, you know what? I don't give a damn about rules. You see, 3 of us made it here together. They give us 1 ticket, we buy another 2. 3 of us made it here together. It would be nonsense if 3 of us couldn't make it there together. So I'm no Dark Lord without my Death Eaters. So we did purchase another 2 tickets, cheap flights anyway. And we decided that Nippon Paint shouldn't know any of this and intended to keep it a secret. And the plan is 2 of us would meet the other one secretly when we get to Indonesia to help her prepare the presentation for our project. And that was the plan. I mean, what the nerve we got. First flight out of the country. It was our first flight out of the country. Anything could happen to us. So, and because it was a secret, so naturally they found out, Nippon Paint. And one of the jury members, Mr. Daniel Lim, he called us up to his office and literally yelled at us, "I am very disappointed in you, how reckless and immature and childish you are. What would other people think of us if anything happened to you? Now, return those cheap flight tickets immediately and take mine instead." The national airlines, and expensive. So, by not giving a damn about rules and consequences, we were scolded by a foreigner, but on the contrary, we had extra 2 round-trip national airlines, expensive tickets to Indonesia, attended the region around together, all 3 of us, and also got the refund from the cheap price airlines. So that doesn't happen very usual. So the fact that not giving a damn about rules isn't necessarily a bad thing. There is another fact that I want to share with you is that I am a geek and I play Quidditch. For those of you who doesn't know Quidditch, it is originally a sport from the Harry Potter Wizarding World that has many balls, and you have to fly on a broomstick to play it. And according to the fact that we can't actually fly, so 11 years ago, in 2007, in America, they developed a twisted version of Quidditch so that we can actually play on the ground. And it is called Muggle Quidditch. In comparison, there's still many balls, a broomstick between your legs, but the golden snitch is replaced by this golden human version with a fake tail. Now, I had a group of friends which was like a bunch of nerds and geeks who knew nothing other than books and computer games and movies and drinking sugarcane juice. And the problem of being an introvert and a geek is that you're too shy and insecure to play any other conventional sport. So in 2014, sitting next to a sugarcane cart, we decided to form a team to play the only sport that no one had ever played before in Vietnam, not giving a damn about whether it was going to work out or we were going to just make fun of ourselves in front of people. So to make a geek get out of a little world of books and computers to play a sport is an evolution. And the consequence for that evolution is falling flat on her face. This is literally what happened to me on our very first Quidditch game. There was only 5 of us chasing each other on a concrete basketball playground. But the cruelest thing that ever happened to us is the one that when we decided to recruit new members on the internet. And I'll tell you what happened. It was totally mental and traumatic. Take a look at this comment. How can you even fly on those fake broomsticks? And other sticks were throwing at each other's head. And No one's gonna put a stick between your legs. It looks freaking weird, you moron. And you ruined my Harry Potter imagination. And what a bunch of good-for-nothing douchebags. I mean, ouch, that was hurt. You see, the social network can get very cruel. But I know that many of you may have those very same questions about flying and a stick between the legs and looking weird thing. But in our defense, how could this is considered weirder than riding a bicycle? I mean, the pain and the danger is like, okay. But anyway, the greatest thing about Quidditch is that boys and girls can actually play together on the same team, as well as the LGBTs. So we don't give a damn about different gender. So anyone of any gender can play together on the same team. So take that, basketball and football and volleyball. You see, we don't even have the word ball on the name, and yet we still have more balls in it than all three of that together. Now, back in the beginning, we didn't have any idea about how far it could come, but let me tell you about how far it had come. In 2014, we were able to maintain a proper team in Saigon, and we called it Giant Squid. We got a uniform, we played every weekend, we were on the news, and we even brought it to another side of the country and formed another team there in Hanoi. The people in Hanoi, they took over it so well. They managed to organize the Asian Quidditch Cup in 2017, which involved like Indonesia and Malaysia and Korea and Australia and so on. They even managed to get themselves to play in the Quidditch World Cup this year in Italy, competed against 28 other countries. Meanwhile, in Saigon, Giant Squid started to fall apart. Well, not because that we were let down by those haters on Facebook, but due to management problem. But when you look at the beginning, if you did less though criticisms and discriminations on social networks let us down and swallow us, none of this could have happened. So I'm glad that we did it out of sheer curiosity and for our own geekness and excitement, not knowing what's going to happen next and not giving a damn about what other people think. So not giving a damn attitude could lead to something very amazing, very exciting, and also very satisfying in the end. Scary, it may seem, for not knowing what's going to happen next, but that's not risk. One man's risk is another man's comfort zone. For example, giving a TED Talk is way too scary for me. But there are people like Matt, he does it on a daily basis, and he dwells on public speaking. So I won't say that I've taken a risk, and the important thing that I've done it and done is better than perfect. Now, I have a couple of friends, close friends, who knew that I was going to do something very scary today, but chose not to come see me do it. Well, it proves that they don't give a damn about me at all. Well, probably because they've got something even scarier to do. So if that's true, then that's okay. I feel good about that, and they're still very good friends of mine. But the important thing that I want to say is to care or not to care is a choice. So ask yourself to have the courage to look at something that is truly doesn't matter to you, either in real life or on social networks, and say to his face, #NOMB, none of my business. Thank you.